All right, let's talk about section 11.4. The fourth section in chapter 11, all about rational expressions, and now we are going to be multiplying and dividing with rational expressions. So you might have something like this, where you have a product, and you're going to have to multiply a rational expression times another rational expression. And good news, this video should be short because this isn't too difficult, and I think we only have 3 or 4 example problems to go through, and then you'll be off to a great start on this section. So how do you multiply fractions together? Well, when you multiply a fraction times a fraction, don't you just do top times top and then bottom times bottom? Yeah, that's basically all we do. So on the top, you're going to have 3 r squared t to the 4th x. I like to put the variables in alphabetical order. And on the bottom, you're going to have 9 rt cubed. And boom, we just found the product, right? The only problem is we want to make sure that when we give an answer, we give it in simplest form. And this can be simplified. So I'm going to show you how this can be simplified. The 3 and the 9 can simplify to a 1/3, right? If you've got r squared and r, there's going to be some stuff going on here to simplify and simplify with the t's. The x is just going to be an x. I think we kind of can see that. But for this problem, unlike yesterday, you can match and scratch the individual parts because this right here is just a monomial over a monomial. Monomial. Right? So when you have just a monomial over a monomial, there's no pluses or minuses, sums or differences here. It's not like you got a part of a binomial canceling with a part of a trinomial. It's just some products that are all getting smashed together. So really this is like 3 times r times a bunch of t's. I ran out of space, so I'll put the other 2 t's here. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. And then on the bottom, you've got 9, which by the way is 3 times 3, times r times t times t times t. And now comes the fun part, the matching and the scratching. So I can go like that. A 3 cancels with a 3, an r cancels with an r, a t cancels with a t, and this t can cancel with this t. Oh, there's another t here. That can cancel with that. And our answer is just going to be whatever our leftovers are. So I've got an r and a t and an x here. And on the bottom, all I've got is a 3. That's the answer to this problem, because you always want to put it in simplest form by canceling the things that can reduce. Hopefully that makes sense, and I'm guessing many of you will be able to do this problem without needing to write it all out and match and scratch that way. You might be able to just go straight from here to here in your head, and that's fine too, but feel free to write out all of the products and the factors if that helps you. All right, now we got another problem where we are going to find the product. This time it isn't just monomials, 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 monomials. Now we've got binomial over monomial times monomial over trinomial, and now you're not allowed to just cancel the a and the a or things like that. So what we need to do here is we need to go ahead and write this out as a times a plus 4 on the top. On the bottom, we've got a squared, which is a times a, times this trinomial. But guess what? I'm not going to write it as a trinomial. I'm going to try to write this trinomial as a binomial. I'm going to factor this, and I'm going to do magic numbers, and I'm going to say this is 4 times -2, and this is 4 plus -2. So I'm going to put a plus 4, a minus 2. Hopefully by now you've gotten fairly good at that kind of trinomial to binomial factoring. And then we're going to be able to do our matching and our scratching. So a plus 4 matches with a plus 4. Yay, isn't it nice that that worked out that way? A matches with a. So on the bottom, I've got a times a minus 2. And what do I put on the top? Everything's gone. I just put a 1 there as a placeholder, and boom, I am done with this problem and good to go. So multiplying rational expressions, pretty easy. You just want to make sure you give your answer in simplest form by matching and scratching where appropriate if possible. All right, let's try another one. 4 over 15n cubed, and we've got 12 over 25n. But do you notice anything different about this problem? You should notice I'm not asking you to find a product here. I'm asking you to find a quotient. This is a division problem. So we're not going to do exactly the same thing as we just did on the previous problems. We have to remember, what do you do when you do a fraction divided by a fraction? Don't we turn it into multiplication? And you turn division into multiplication with fractions by flipping the second one. Yeah? But we don't flip the first one. We keep the first one the same. And now basically this problem is just like what we were doing before. So we're just going to look for opportunities to match and scratch and simplify. The 4 and the 12 reduces to a 1 and a 3. The 15 and the 25 reduces to a 3 and a 5 when you divide by 5. And then an n and an n cubed, well, one of these three n's is going to get canceled by that n. So this n cubed is now going to be an n squared. And now my final answer on the top is 5, 1 times 5, over 3n squared times 3, so 9n squared. Easy peasy. That's it. So I'm going to have us do one more problem, and if we can handle this, we're good to go. Feel free to pause this video and try this on your own, or just stay tuned. Here we go. Let's see, binomial, trinomial, binomial, binomial, division. I know I'm going to have to flip this and make it multiplication. That means I'm going to have to put the y minus 8 on the top. And then you know what I'm going to do with the y squared minus 9? I'm not going to write it as y squared minus 9. What do you think I'm going to write it as? What do you think I'm going to write it as? Y squared minus 9. I'm going to factor it. How? Difference of squares. Square, square, that's the square of y. That's the square of 3. So remember what we do here, plus, minus. Yay. Why did I factor that? Because I think I just might be able to do some matching and scratching. Oh, y minus 3, y minus 3. And then on the bottom here, let's factor, factor, factor. What are my magic numbers? 16 to negative 2 times negative 8. This is negative 2 plus negative 8. So I'm going to have y minus 2, y minus 8. You don't have to be able to do that as fast as I just did it. You just have to be able to get there eventually. So now I get to have a match and scratch party. What matches? What scratches? Y minus 8, y minus 8. Y minus 3, y minus 3. And now I'm going to write my answer as the leftovers. On the top, I'm going to have a 1 because everything else canceled out. And on the bottom, I'm going to have y minus 2, y plus 3. And you can write your answer like this, okay? Or if you really felt like it, you could FOIL that denominator back out and write it as y squared plus 1y minus 6 if you really wanted to. Either one of those would be perfectly fine way to write your answer to this problem. Hope I did that right. Anyways, that's it for multiplying and dividing with rational expressions. Hopefully that made sense. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I will see you next time.